All right. Oh, when did you go up to the house?
Yesterday. I was down there Sunday and Monday. Stump was here at the house, but I was in the city Sunday and Monday. I stayed over because of the weather, because I had stuff to do yesterday morning. And then I came back in the afternoon. We're going back tonight because we're going to the Bulls game tomorrow.
Oh,
So
how fun.
yeah, I've got appointments and stuff set up as well, but we're both going to go in tonight so that, because Stump has to be there to work, and then if we don't go in, if we're not there already, we'll be late coming in the evening. So yeah.
I didn't know you guys were Bulls fans.
Yeah, I mean, we don't go very often. Stump's nephew actually had bought, who was in town at Christmas, that we had spent time with. He was part of the small group we spent the time with at Christmas, that we had to break into the different groups because of COVID. He actually had bought tickets for he and his wife and his mother-in-law for when they were in town over the holidays, but it got canceled because of COVID and pushed back. And then they live in Florida, so Stump bought the tickets from him. Just
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. So that's why we're going. We're taking Roger.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, who's a
How's
huge.
he doing?
He's good. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, has he been well? I mean, I had this little cold, but it's like I didn't bother to go get tested because it kind of seems like
Doesn't matter.
well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like I was going to be out and about, and they said you're contagious 2 days before you exhibit symptoms and 3 days after symptoms start. Well, I basically was holed up on Zoom meetings anyway. So,
yeah.
And there were so many false negatives that it seemed like unless you had a really good case of something that, well, not only that, but I didn't feel like standing out in the cold in line for an hour to get in to get tested for something.
Yeah, that's the irony of it, right? It's
right?
like you get sick trying to get in line, or
right.
I think it was a Stump drove by one of the facilities up here, and there he didn't see any lines, so he went in, but there were like 60 people crammed like sardines into a room waiting in line. And he's like, well, if I don't have COVID now, I'll get it waiting in line in there.
Yeah, so. No kidding. Well, there was a lot of that. I mean, I know that there's a lot of these pop-up sites. They were saying in the paper about this one site. Apparently they were taking people's tests and then they just threw all the tests in the garbage. I mean, it was, not a legitimate site. It was, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I guess the scam is that they send in and get paid. I guess that's why they were doing it, right? Is that the scam? I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. Sounded like a lot of them were charging money for certain things too. So they may be advertising they were free, but then if you wanted to get this or that, or if you wanted to get it in less than 5 days or whatever, you had to pay. And so they may have just been collecting money that way. But
yeah, who knows? Well, anyway, yeah. So it just seemed in the big scheme of things, it's kind of like, I mean, so I don't know if I just had a little bit of a cold. I mean, I didn't have any fever or anything. So, I just had a little bit of congestion and lasted like 3 days. I mean, part of me makes me think that I might have had COVID because I got all my shots and I had such a mild case that if it were a legitimate cold, I think I would have been sicker. You don't know. Anyway, we'll never know, right?
That's a good problem to have, that you weren't sick enough to tell. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely. But anyway, I just thought with everything going around, I should just hole up and not expose anybody. We probably shouldn't get into this, but I just have to say there was a rally in Highland Park on Sunday. I saw it in the paper on Monday. That there was a rally of all these people protesting that Highland Park now has a mandate like we do in the city, where if you want to go to a restaurant, you have to show your vaccination status. And these people were protesting that and saying, you can't make us get vaccinated, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, nobody says you have to get vaccinated. You just can't go into a restaurant.
Yeah.
So don't get vaccinated, but then stay home. I guess I don't really quite understand why people think it's okay to jeopardize the health of other people, like, hospitality workers. And of course, it's kind of a case that's near and dear to my heart because my son is in that industry and he's had
has contracted it twice now.
He's had it twice
while doing everything he's supposed to do. Yeah. Exactly.
So, I mean, he's got his shots. He double masks. He's got an N95 mask, and still gets sick. So I just can't blame hospitality workers one bit if they just throw in the rag and say they've had enough. I mean, is it really worth jeopardizing your health to be in that industry? I don't know. But, just so that we can be entertained.
And it's not just them, it's everybody around them too,
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I don't mean to get on my bandwagon, but that is kind of a soapbox for me, near and dear to my heart. So there we go. But it was a balmy 7 degrees when I got up this morning. According to my weather station, there's all kinds of ice on the lake. I saw an article in yesterday's paper about we're going to be getting a lot more ice on the lake, but we're still on track for like our third, what does it say about it? The record, second lowest coverage on record for January.
Lowest coverage?
What's that?
Coverage, you mean? Talking about ice?
Yeah, ice coverage. Yeah, ice coverage. And then, of course, we had the pancake ice last weekend was pancake ice. Do you know what pancake ice is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was telling you, I usually with the compared to the photo that you posted, usually when I've seen it, they're much bigger. They're like giant lily pads, but it looked like they were more pancake size in the photo that you.
Right. And it only lasted the one day, but it has something to do with the waves and the wind, and I don't know. They bump up against each other, and
yeah, it's kind of weird how that happens.
What's that?
But it's kind of weird how that happens.
Yeah, I know. I am enjoying seeing the canvas of ice flow by our window. So we
great to have that view, because it's especially during COVID, while we've been so, homebound, and you and I are both getting out and doing showings and working and stuff, but we're not really in the office and just spending a lot more time at home. So it's been nice for you to have that sort of like view to.
It's an ever-changing canvas, I have to tell you. I just every morning I come out and I'm grateful and appreciative of the views. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's really nice. We should probably talk a little bit, a couple of things about our schedule, because of all of this training that we're doing. It's going to have to change, right? A little bit. Like today, we ended up
at least for 10 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday because of the snow, your appointments got all messed up, and and Wes and I are engaged in a 10-week training program that Compass is putting on. My brother said to me, I was telling him about it last week, and he said to me, "You've been in real estate for 40 years. What could you possibly be trained on?"
Growth equals happiness.
We are constant learners, right?
For the great Sky Michaels, growth equals happiness.
That's right. We never stop learning, and our industry never stops changing and evolving. So
that's true. I was thinking about it yesterday, and I because I was having a discussion with somebody about CRM and about how customer relation management systems and databases and stuff, and about how, well, we didn't really have CRM back when you and I were not only starting in the business, but for probably half the time we were in the business.
Exactly.
It didn't really exist. And then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, not only did the databases not exist, but The MLS didn't exist.
No,
We were using the
exactly.
books.
No, I mean, my
We didn't have
CRM,
smartphones. We didn't have anything. We didn't have computers. We didn't have anything to even, if there was a CRM, there was nothing to put it on because we didn't have computers or
no, we didn't have
smartphone to
computers.
look it up. Or
We did everything. In fact, we did everything manual. I remember making, my husband at the time owned a typesetting business, which of course is, now an obsolete industry altogether. But, and of course his typesetting machine was a computer, but it created a ticker tape, like a ticker tape parade. Remember well, no, you wouldn't remember, but remember they used to do the ticker tape parades down when the astronauts came home from the moon and stuff, but or whatever they do it for. But
or the Bears won a
right. But we had to do everything manually, and yeah, it was. I mean, the technology has changed our world so much. And I remember in the 90s when we had fax machines, and we thought, oh, aren't they wonderful? Fax machines. We can just fax things now. We don't have to pay a messenger.
Yeah, this person yesterday was saying, well, it seems weird that they didn't have CRM back then. And I was thinking about after, I'm like,
yeah, our CRM
where would it have been? Yeah.
Our CRM were index cards, right?
Yeah.
I mean, our little Rolodex, that was our CRM, was a Rolodex. I still have my Rolodex, actually. I still have my Rolodex.
I'm sure you do.
It's stuck here in my drawer where I never use it, but here we go.
We need to have those scanned.
I know. Well, I don't even know who's in here, to tell you the truth. I haven't looked at this in ages, but
it should be in your CRM.
Well, I don't know who. I probably don't know who most of these people are, to tell you the truth. But yeah, I'm sure. That could be a good winter project for me to do. Right?
It'll be fun to find out how many are still alive.
Oh, now come on, now let's not be macabre. But this actually sat on my dad's desk. It was his. And then after he passed, my mom gave it to me to use. So there you go.
You need the big flipping one.
Yeah, Bob has that one, and he actually still uses it. My husband, Bob, he still uses it.
I can see that.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're doing this 10-week training program to get all caught up on the latest and greatest technology that Compass has to offer us, and sharpen our skills and whatnot. So I think we're going to have to change the timing of our call from Mondays at noon. I don't know is Tuesday at noon going to work for us? Do we want to make it Tuesday, or what do we want to do? Do we want to make it earlier Monday morning, like 8 o'clock Monday morning? I used to do them when I first started doing them, and I would just get on and talk by myself, and I'd pick a topic and talk for 10 minutes.
Are you asking for suggestions from the public?
Right, maybe. But I don't know. I think 8 o'clock Monday morning. I mean, it gets us out of bed and gets going. Maybe we could do 9. Maybe we could do 9 o'clock Monday morning.
Would it be breakfast with Mary and Wes?
Breakfast, yeah. Well, we'll figure it out, and
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Stay tuned, and but everybody that we're talking to across the country, all our trainers and coaches and colleagues are all telling us to rev up for a really busy spring market. So interest rates are climbing a little bit, but I don't think prices are going to be declining. So, I mean, interest rates are still at record lows. So it's still a good time as a buyer. And as Guy pointed out this morning, I liked his point this morning about, if you're buying a home for your family to live in, and they're going to be there for 15 years, why are you waiting?
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good point. So
his point was the only time that the market matters is when you buy it, sell it, or refi it.
Yeah.
And I even wondered about even the refi is kind of like, well, it may affect whether or not you get a refi, but it doesn't even really affect the
Right.
refi. So yeah, to me, it was almost more like only 2 times, that it makes a difference when you buy
I
it.
kind of imagine with the interest rates going up that the refi business is sort of drying up a bit. I imagine all of the mortgage people are going to be calling us, trying to take us out for coffee and lunches now, because I'm sure I'm sure their refi business is kind of drying up.
Yeah, and they're going back to the
Going back to
purchases.
having to deal with buyers and purchases now. So
That's
anyway,
probably true. Yeah.
yeah. So what do we get? What do we get coming up for the week? Anything we want to talk about?
I don't know. We've got so many trainings going on. We can't even find time to get together. So
I'm like so confused. I'm trying to work out my calendar this morning. I changed my call with Dylan, and then I found out that my coaching's on Monday and not Friday. I didn't need to, but I didn't have the nerve to call him back and tell him, no, we could keep the original time.
yeah, I actually have an email from Steve too. I don't know if it's just a new links, but I have an email that I haven't been able to get into yet. It's like, very important, please read. Like, it's all about the times and everything again too, from Steve Scholl. So yeah, this is going to be an intensive 10 weeks with all these different trainings going on, but really exciting too. All of it's really good. None of it is, I was telling Dylan yesterday, this is the sort of thing that I would have hated years ago, but they're all so good and so interesting and so, ahead of the game and everything, that I'm actually really excited about all of these classes and the training and everything going on.
Why would you have hated it years ago?
You would have too. Like if any other company you were at was like, okay, we're going to start doing all these classes you have to attend, you would have thrown something at them.
Well, you're right about that. I have a very low threshold.
but it's just, like I said, the air is different here at Compass, and
Well, I love what the woman said on the 6 a.m. call this morning. She just came over to Compass. What did she say, in May or something? Maybe not. Yeah, something like that. And just how fresh and new and crisp everything is. And yes, there's definitely an energy, no question about it.
Yeah.
I think
and just operating at a different level. So, I told Dylan, so many of any of those classes or trainings before would have been such geared toward the lowest common denominator that it would have been frustrating for us, but that's just not at Compass. It's just a different level of everything. And so, ahead of the curve, and such good people that you're listening to and, following, and not only smart and good teachers and trainers, but such quality people. It just changes the level of everything.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's pretty friggin' phenomenal, really. I mean, the culture that Compass has been able to build is pretty amazing. So
yeah, so this will be exciting tomorrow with the Robert Refkin call to the life action plan that he's created with Chirac. Should be pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So
yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to have to, because of this 10-week program that Wes and I are involved in, which will get us through spring market. I don't know when we're going to have time to work, but we'll have to figure that out. Somehow that we always find time for that, right?
Yeah, I realize tomorrow I'm going to have to drive to my showing in the afternoon, park out front, do the that particular hour-long training call, and then show, because I won't have time in between, and I don't want to be driving during it. So I'm going to have to leave an hour early, park in front of the property, do the Zoom training, and then go do the show.
Did you get the offer in on the 5.8 million? It never materialized. Oh, that's too bad. But you're getting activity on that, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Yeah, especially considering the time of year and everything.
I
Yeah.
saw in Cranes that the $33 million mansion up in Lake Geneva was bought by a guy. They finally disclosed who purchased it. It was a guy who owns um, a mansion in Lake Forest on Westminster Avenue. And I'm like, well, I wonder if he's going to be selling that one, because I mean, they're only an hour apart, those two properties.
Yeah, but if you've got that much money, I guess
Well, that's true, right? I
you'll
mean,
have a summer home an
right?
hour away. I mean,
That's true.
that's basically been the case for all of Lake Geneva mansions, is they were all Chicago, you know, people that had those properties as their summer homes. So, they were an hour to, an hour and 20 away, whatever.
Well, an hour is, I mean, actually for a second home, an hour is kind of an ideal
Mhm.
commute, I think, because well, I mean, you commute an hour in from to the city, basically, right?
Well, when I'm commuting, yeah.
When you're commuting. But I mean, so it's very manageable. If you have something come up last minute that you need to get in for, you can do it. And it's not like,
Just during COVID, our second home became more of our first home.
right, exactly. Well, you and a lot of other people, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, well, next week we'll be a little more focused on the actual market and what's going on. It's the last week of January. I don't know where January went to. It just kind of, well, of course, the first 10 days I basically took off. So that's a third of the month right there. And it just seems like hit the ground running on the 10th and haven't stopped. So it's been a very short month. But I guess if anybody who's enjoying dry January, your ordeal is almost behind you. But you know what my brother and sister-in-law sent me for Christmas was, I should probably mention this because it's really been, I think I'm going to make it a permanent change in my drinking habits. They sent me, they're called aperitifs, and they're made by a winemaker out of California. And they're not wine, they're more botanical, more like, but they have a lower alcohol content like wine does.
Mhm.
So you mix up, you can either just drink them on the rocks, or you can mix them in with like a spritzer with soda water or tonic water. And they kind of give you that feel of having a cocktail. They're not, wine can be kind of sweet or whatever. These aren't. So it gives you that feel of having a cocktail, but you
It
don't.
might give you the physical sensation of it, but not the overall feel of
Right,
having.
right. You don't get drunk. You don't get hung. Well, I suppose you could get drunk if you really worked at it, but that's the point, that you don't get drunk, that you can drink them all night long. And
Find out how many you have to drink, Mary.
no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not taking that project. Anyway, the company is called House, Haus, and I think you can only order it online. And because it's wine, they actually have an interesting business model. They don't have to go through the distributor system. They can sell their product online, and their website, if you're interested, is called Drink House, DRINK, Drink House, HAUS.com. And they have an inventory of aperitifs that you can order. And yeah, I think I'm going to make it a permanent, weekday thing.
But I've noticed there's a lot of companies doing that or something similar, including completely non-alcoholic ones, but that are more, like you said, botanical and or like a cocktail, are interesting, but without the alcohol.
Right. Yeah. Well, of course, that's a big movement too. But what they call, well, I guess it's kind of politically incorrect to call them mocktails, but non-alcoholic, whatever you want to call it, adult beverage. But anyway, whatever. So, yeah. So this is the end of January. Next week, when we sign in to see you, I guess it'll either be the 31st or the 1st of February, and we'll be through the dog days of winter, I would say, right? Getting through them anyway.
Yep.
So, all right.
Well, we'll see everybody next week.
Have a good week. Bye for now.
Bye.